Rising along the banks of the Johor River, the city of Johor Lama was at once a royal capital, a bustling emporium, and a defiant successor to the fallen splendor of the Malacca Sultanate. Merchants from across Asia crowded its markets. Alliances were forged and broken in its royal halls, and beneath the formidable walls of its stout fort there lay a confidence, perhaps even a certainty, that it would all endure. But Johor Lama stood at the center of a gathering storm. It lay at the heart of an uneasy triangle of power: the Portuguese colonizers in Malacca, the rising Islamic war machine in Aceh, and the Johor Empire itself. In this struggle, alliances shifted with the tide, and enemies were as likely to become allies as they were to remain foes. Such a position was never going to be stable for long. By 1587, tensions had hardened into open warfare, and the Portuguese resolved to strike directly at Johor's capital. What followed was a battle that would test the strength of Johor's defences, the resolve of its rulers, and the fragile balance of power across the Malay world. This is the story of the fall of Johor Lama. On the 1st of July 1511, a fleet of Portuguese warships under Afonso de Albuquerque arrived before the great Malay Emporium at Malacca. Seeking an absolute monopoly over the lucrative spice trade of Asia, the Portuguese launched a brutal siege against the wealthy city, and, after fierce fighting, it fell on August 24, 1511. The Portuguese immediately began erecting an impregnable stone fortress, signaling their intention to establish themselves as the permanent supreme military and naval power in the Straits of Malacca. Driven from his ancestral throne, the Sultan of Malacca, Mahmud Shah, and his followers fled deep into the Malayan hinterland, traversing the Muar River before establishing a government in exile on the island of Bintan. Though the Malacca Sultanate had lost its capital, the royal bloodline and its imperial ambitions survived the catastrophe. By 1530, the Sultan's successor, Sultan Alauddin Riayat Shah II, had returned to the mainland and established a new administrative center on the banks of the Johor River, laying the foundation for Malacca's successor, the Johor Empire. The Portuguese continued to pursue the destruction of their old enemy. In 1535 and 1536, Portuguese forces under Estevão da Gama sailed up the Johor River with hundreds of men, using their superior naval power and firepower to destroy early Malay forts such as Kota Batu, forcing the Sultan to temporarily sue for peace and retreat to Muar. Yet, the Malays always rebuilt, fiercely determined to regain their sovereignty and one day be strong enough to drive the Portuguese infidels from the Straits. Recognizing the need for a formidable and defensible stronghold against continuous Portuguese naval incursions, the Johor Sultanate moved its capital around 1540 to a strategic site near the river's estuary known as Johor Lama. The heart of the city was Kota Batu, built on a steep promontory called Tanjung Batu that offered a commanding elevated view of the river. This strategic position provided early warning of any enemy naval advance from the sea, while also serving as the bustling new commercial hub of the Malay world, deliberately positioned to draw trade away from Portuguese Malacca. The Portuguese were not the only regional power threatening Johor's survival. Another rival rose in the form of the aggressive Islamic state of Aceh in northern Sumatra. Aceh attracted Muslim traders from India and the Middle East, enabling it to grow rapidly in both wealth and military strength. It launched devastating jihads against both the Portuguese and rival Malay states such as Johor. In 1564, the formidable Achenese Sultan, Sultan Alauddin Kahar, attacked and pillaged Johor Lama, captured the Johor ruler, and dragged him back to Sumatra in chains. By the late 16th century, the region was locked in a bitter three-sided struggle for political domination and economic control over the Straits of Malacca between the Portuguese, Aceh, and Johor. To avoid war on two fronts, Johor at times even found itself allied with its Portuguese foes to keep the Achenese war machine at bay. Johor provided assistance to the Portuguese when Aceh laid siege to Malacca in 1568, and Portuguese ships helped repel an Achenese attack on Johor in 1582. However, after this attack, Sultan Ali Jala Abdul Jalil Shah II, or Raja Omar, skillfully established a dynastic alliance with Aceh by marrying the daughter of its ruler, Sultan Alauddin Mansur Shah. Confident that Aceh was no longer an immediate threat, Johor turned its full and undivided wrath against Portuguese Malacca, both militarily and economically. Johor Lama began to attract merchants from Gujarat, China, and Java, who preferred to pay lower tolls to the Malay Sultan rather than submit to the heavy taxation imposed by the Portuguese. Recognizing this threat to their trade monopoly, in 1586, Portuguese ships began intercepting and seizing Johor's trade vessels in an attempt to strangle the Sultan's commercial networks. Sultan Ali Jala retaliated with a brilliant strategy of naval sabotage. He ordered old heavy junks, filled to the brim with stones, to be deliberately sunk in the primary navigational channels of the Singapore Straits, the channel the Portuguese called Santa Barbara. This ingenious tactic effectively blocked the passage of large, deep-draft Portuguese galleons returning from China and the Moluccas, forcing them to navigate more treacherous southern routes. There, a roving armada of the Sultan's ships harried the Portuguese galleons and intercepted other merchant vessels, forcefully diverting their trade to Johor Lama. Patrolling these waters were the Sultan's Orang Laut, who constituted the very backbone and heart of Johor's maritime and naval power. Geographically, these expert seamen were drawn from specific island and coastal dependencies within the Johor Empire, including the Orang Gelam and Orang Seletar of Singapore and the Johor coast, as well as the Orang Laut communities of the islands of the Riau Lingga archipelago. These Orang Laut communities provided the bulk of the fighting men and rowers for the Johor Sultan's fleets. Simultaneously, the Sultan also organized a massive land and sea blockade of Malacca, enlisting Minangkabau warriors from the interior regions of Nanning and Rembau to cut off land routes and ravage the surrounding countryside. With Malacca experiencing food shortages and growing desperate for supplies, in January 1587, Sultan Ali Jalal suddenly appeared before the city with an armada of 120 ships, including 16 large heavily armed galleys and 6,000 fighting men. He landed his forces in a bold two-pronged attempt to conquer the city, deploying troops to the north, while personally leading a separate force to the south. The Portuguese managed to drive both attacks back from the walls, and the Johor Sultan was forced to withdraw his forces to Johor Lama. The Portuguese response would come 6 months later. They had a small squadron stationed at Teluk Ramunia on the southeastern tip of Johor. Led by Captain Antonio de Noronha, this force consisted of galleons supported by 2 fast ships or fustas and a few buntins or rowing vessels, all manned by troops from Malacca. However, this force was powerless to advance until it was reinforced by more smaller ships. Owing to the deep draft of the heavy galleons, they were unable to effectively navigate the Johor River or engage the swifter Malay sailboats or lanchangs. On July 20, 1587, the Noronha was reinforced by Captain Simaudi Abreu's much-needed fleet of highly maneuverable galleys and fustas, which were used to tow Noronha's heavy galleons into the river so they could bombard the city. With the Abreu's arrival, the fleet proceeded up the Johor River towards Johor Lama and the Sultan's stronghold at Kota Batu. Word reached the Sultan that the Portuguese fleet was on its way, and he dispatched his galley and 20 other ships to intercept it. Forming a line, the Portuguese ships dropped anchor and fired withering broadsides at the approaching Malay vessels. The intense and well-coordinated bombardment scattered the Malay fleet, which retreated to the safety of Johor Lama. Flushed with this early success, the Portuguese fleet proceeded slowly towards Johor Lama. What awaited them would be a formidable challenge. The geography of Johor Lama made it a natural fortress. The city resembled an island, flanked by protective creeks and rivers on both sides, including the Johor Lama River bordering the northern suburb. The seaward approach, the most obvious avenue for a naval assault, was deliberately fortified with a massive, deep ditch filled with lethal wooden spikes and dangerous iron caltrops, designed to impale and injure any heavily armored soldier attempting to scale the walls. On the landward side, where the attack was deemed less likely, the ramparts were crowned by a single continuous wooden stockade. The main bastion, Kota Batu, was constructed with thick mud brick walls, roofed with massive wooden beams, forming a secure, almost bomb-proof shelter below. Above this, on its parapets, the fort was heavily armed with a mix of medium and light artillery. The fortress was further surrounded by a sturdy exterior breastwork and a towering stockade of thick poles and stakes mounted on high earthen walls. Manning the fortress were 12,000 fighters, consisting of Johor Malays, Minangkabau, Javanese, Orang Laut, and allies from Sumatran kingdoms such as Indragiri and Kampar. The Malay defenders also employed highly effective urban defensive tactics. They anticipated that if the outer walls were breached by naval bombardment, the fighting would inevitably spill into the city's narrow, winding streets. To counter this, the Portuguese the entrances to all primary streets were completely blocked with massive stockades constructed from stout timber. These internal barricades were designed to funnel the Portuguese into cramped kill zones, where they could be picked off by Malay musketeers firing from elevated fighting platforms. The Portuguese fleet began their attack with an intense naval bombardment of the town. During this preliminary bombardment, they launched a landing to capture a beach fort they called Couto, and which the Malays called Kubu Budak, located on the opposite bank of the Johor Lama River and protecting the town's northern suburb. It was called Kubu Budak because it was built by budak, or boys from the town, each of whom were asked to carry an armful of earth for its construction. After some hard hand-to-hand fighting with its 200-strong garrison, the Portuguese captured the fort, seizing its 30 pieces of artillery. By capturing Kubu Budak, the riverbank of the northern suburb of Johor Lama was left undefended and provided a secure amphibious landing zone for subsequent Portuguese attacks. To take advantage of their successful capture of Kubu Budak, the Noronha proposed that they press forward immediately and launch a main assault on the city. The town was burning, the Malays had been shaken, and their defences had been breached. But his captains were less convinced. They had far fewer men, and Johor Lama was no mere village. It was fortified, well-manned and prepared. An assault with insufficient numbers could end very badly indeed. They suggested waiting, bombarding the town from the safety of the river and only landing when reinforcements from Malacca arrived. The Noronha chose to ignore his captains. Without waiting for them, he led his own force ashore on July 23rd. The landing was achieved with some success, and they appeared to advance into the city. However, as cannonballs began flying around their heads, their guides fled. Portuguese units became disoriented, separated, and isolated as the Malays rushed out of their fortifications and pressed forward in large numbers. The Portuguese fled back to their boats, and the Noronha himself found himself trapped in a makeshift stockade with just a few dozen soldiers as Malays closed in from all sides. Relief only came when the other captains, having gathered what men they could find, forced their way forward and extracted the stranded force. The Portuguese knew that they did not have the manpower to take the town and fort by storm, and so they settled in their ships and continued to bombard Johor Lama over the next 2 weeks. This stalemate would last until salvation arrived for the Portuguese on the 6th of August, when a relief force from India, commanded by the battle-hardened veteran Dom Paulo de Lima Pereira, came to their aid. De Lima brought a fleet of 3 galleons and 13 other vessels, carrying with them 600 additional troops, including Portuguese regulars and auxiliaries from the colonies. Command of the campaign now fell to De Lima, and rather than rush into a headlong assault on the town, he spent the next week preparing for the coming battle. Finally, on the morning of August 15, 1587, the bloody climax began as De Lima launched a massive amphibious assault from the north, landing directly in the city's primary suburb. The Portuguese surged forward in 3 columns. The vanguard hit the beaches and was immediately engaged by a ferocious wall of Malay musketeers and spearmen. The Portuguese were forced to fight their way up a narrow, muddy street, constantly hindered by stout timber barricades blocking their path. Casualties mounted as they were pinned down in the cramped avenues of the city, the air thick with smoke and the deafening crash of artillery. Clouds of musket balls, arrows, and blowpipe darts descended upon them from defenders positioned on scaffolds overlooking the street. The Portuguese advance was completely halted, and the battle devolved into a brutal hand-to-hand struggle. The Portuguese historian Diogo do Couto has written what is probably the most detailed account of the battle at Johor Lama, and he presents a vivid description of the carnage. He described the battle as an earthquake so great that everyone was deaf from the roar of artillery. Nothing could be seen but fire. The smoke obscured the sun, and nothing could be heard but thunder and earthquakes. The storm of artillery and other heavy weapons was so great that it seemed as if the world were burning and melting down. The Malays defending Kota Batu, led by Raja Mahkota, had scattered the initial Portuguese assault on its gates, and they left their fortifications to join their comrades in the town in driving the Portuguese back to their boats. It was at this point that Captain Mateus Pereira Sampaio, commanding the second column, seized the moment. Moving parallel to the main street, Sampaio and his men scrambled along the elevated fighting platform directly towards the high earthen walls of Kota Batu. Sampaio's men fought their way to the gates of Kota Batu, and to his astonishment, found it largely deserted by its defenders. Sampaio's column was by now reduced to only 15 men, many of them succumbing to the sharpened bamboo stakes protecting the fort. Nevertheless, Sampaio's small strike force swiftly dispatched any remaining guards, captured the bastion, and immediately took control of the fort's massive artillery pieces. Turning the guns around, they unleashed devastating plunging cannon fire directly into the tightly packed ranks of the Malay defenders in the streets below. This bombardment from the rear shattered the spirit of the Malay resistance, and their lines crumbled. The third Portuguese column encountered the Sultan himself, mounted on an elephant and leading a body of troops. A Portuguese soldier shot the animal in the forehead, causing it to turn around and crush the Sultan's troops in panic, completely disordering the royal lines. Seeing his glorious capital lost, Sultan Ali Jala mounted another elephant with his wives and fled deep into the inland jungles to escape the slaughter. The now jubilant Portuguese soldiers set the city on fire, turning Johor Lama into a roaring inferno. They captured an unbelievable cache of artillery, estimated between 1,000 and 2,500 bronze and brass pieces, including a giant Moorish basilisk described as a serpent 23 palms long. They also seized 1,500 muskets and vast quantities of buried gold and silver. In the waters of the Johor River, the Portuguese captured and destroyed between 1,200 and 2,200 vessels, obliterating Johor's naval capacity. The human cost of the battle was horrifyingly disproportionate. Portuguese chroniclers recorded their own losses at about 80 men killed and 100 wounded, while the Malays slain that day were estimated to be between 4,000 and 7,000. Dom Paulo de Lima Pereira returned to Malacca in September to a hero's welcome. In a grand display, he paraded through the streets of the colony and was solemnly crowned with a wreath of roses and tropical flowers by the Bishop of Malacca at the city's iconic bridge. Captured Malay flags, banners, standards, and artillery were paraded before the cheering Portuguese colonists. For the Johor Sultanate, the fall of Johor Lama was catastrophic, but it was not a fatal blow. The great city itself was abandoned and would never again become a royal capital or international trade emporium. However, the resilience of the Sultanate endured. The survivors simply moved further up the Johor River to establish a new capital at Batu Sawah, proving that while their city was destroyed, their kingdom would survive. Realizing they could not defeat the Portuguese alone, the Johor Sultans forged alliances with the Dutch, promising military assistance against their mutual arch-enemy, the Portuguese. In 1641, the descendants of the survivors of Johor Lama finally achieved their revenge. Allied with the Dutch, the Johor fleets relentlessly blockaded Malacca by sea, starving it of food and supplies. On land, Johor forces provided vital transport, manpower, and siege trenches to support the Dutch, while also cutting the Portuguese off from supplies from the hinterland. Together, they conquered the seemingly impregnable fortress of Malacca, expelling the Portuguese from the straits forever. With its nemesis vanquished, Johor began once again to emerge as a major political, economic, and military power in the Malay Peninsula. Yet, the great city of Johor Lama itself, once the thriving heart of that power, was never rebuilt. Its walls, its markets, and its fortress had been consumed by fire in 1587, and though the kingdom endured, the city did not. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, do consider giving it a like, sharing it with your family and friends, leaving your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribing to join me for the next episode of the Malayan Chronicles. Until then, cheerio!